Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Xenonauts 2. This is a game that you can find on Steam's Early Access program for about 40 bucks or so, and I stress Early Access. That means everything that you're about to see here is most definitely subject to change. There's actually a sale going on. You can get it for 25% off until July 25th, 2023. So if you like what you see, definitely grab it while it's 30 bucks instead of 40 bucks. So just a quick bit of backstory. I've never played Xenonauts 1. I have played this for about 4 hours, and I've beaten XCOM and XCOM 2 several times. So I'm going to be using my XCOM experience here to kind of compare the games. When you first go into it, you'll be able to choose between Recruit, Soldier, Veteran, or Commander difficulties. There is Custom, but Recruit is like everything is on the easiest possible setting. My complaint with that is, even on the easiest setting, it turned into Phoenix Point. Another XCOM-y game that I've played, in the sense that it was fun for the first couple of hours because I was able to keep up with the difficulty. The aliens weren't that hard, and then all of a sudden you go on a mission and they wipe the floor with you due to a number of different reasons. So for those of you that have never played an XCOM game before, this is like one of those aliens are threatening to take over the world. You get to pick a headquarters, like you pick a spot on the world map, and you put your headquarters down and UFOs will come into range. In the meantime, you'll be able to do a number of things outside of this geomap. You'll be able to construct rooms inside your bases. You start with the one, like I said, the headquarters, but I believe you can build several around the planet, which is kind of cool. And then each one has its own, like, build-a-block base system. So you can put down, like, laboratories, storerooms, radar arrays, medical centers, science stuffs, and missile batteries even. And you'll have to manage power and living capacity, research capacity, engineering stuff. So, like, you know, you're going to be managing a couple of different bases around the world. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but that's one of the things I like about games like this. I love building, you know, one base and then sort of branching out and then covering more of the world and protecting it from this grand alien threat. In theory, that's a lot of fun. There's even adjacency bonuses in this game. So if you put two laboratories down next to each other, you'll gain a bonus to that. I love stuff like that. I love puzzling out the adjacency. I mean, on the XCOM game and on XCOM 2, you had, you know, limited space to figure all this stuff out. But I love this kind of base building. That's probably what draws me to games like this. Yeah, there's combat. Yeah, you're shooting aliens in a turn-based environment on missions. But I love getting money and, like, researching better gear. Speaking of research, you're going to be, just like in XCOM, you'll be presented with different research topics, and then it'll take 6 days or 7 days or 8 days, depending on how many scientists you currently have. You can just hire more scientists. There are other XCOM games like this where you have to find them, and then they are recruited into your system. Not the case here. You just hire them. Same with the engineering area. This is where you go to build new stuff that you found. Vehicles, aircraft, weapons, new armor, equipment, all of that can be found here. So you'll be constructing things in this engineering bay, and then you can then assign them to your squad before a mission. Of course, it takes several days to create these things. You can even create, there's this Mars vehicle, which is like a rover of sorts. It's very small, nothing like the one in Phoenix Point, which is massive. There's also this mobile sentry turret, but I haven't really gotten to the base defense part of that yet. You have to use them for that. Each squad member in your team has different attributes in HP, accuracy, strength, rifle skill. So you're going to be, you know, hiring people and looking at their skill points. And you're going to be determining where you want to put them. What's cool is that they're not limited to a single class. You can swap out their classes. You can swap out their gear. Ammo is completely free in this game. Like, I don't have to construct. You always have unlimited supply, but you do have to build the weapons to equip them. So there are different kits. So you just say, I want them to be a sniper. So, you know, sort of like the game will have a default sniper kit, but you can customize all of that. You can give them better armor. You can tell them what to wear. In the middle of the mission, you can swap out their primary and secondary weapons. Like if you bring a stun baton along, you can use some of your points for that turn to equip them with different gear. I love that. I love the variety of different weapons that I found so far. There's also aircraft in this game. I've only like bare boned got the first two aircraft, and there's a Skyhawk, which is like your drop ship. But you'll be able to research new missiles, and then there's a Xenopedia, which sort of keeps track of all the new cool things that you found up to that point. Up to that, it's amazing. UFOs, come and go in your radar. You will dispatch your airplanes to go get them. Supposedly, you can take direct control of these combats, but I've never done it. There's an auto-resolve, and every time I've succeeded without problem. In fact, after the auto-resolve, it asks you, do you want to accept this result, or do you want to try and do better via manual control? I believe it's some sort of like RTS combat thing, but don't quote me on it. I haven't tried it yet. But that is a thing. There's auto-resolve, and there's manual fight if you want to do that. I just accept results and move on myself. So there's that. But that's the primary way of like getting stuff done in this game. You shoot down UFOs, and you can either like collect a bounty on it, which is just money, and let someone else take care of it, or you can launch a combat team and send people down to that site to get materials, because the advanced weapons that you're constructing, they take alloys and other materials. So you need to get down there and, get corpses and materials. And then, of course, the typical loadout screen like an XCOM, although I will say, like, the graphics in this are a bit more isometric and, I don't know, simpler. XCOM definitely had better graphics, and the music was fantastic in that game. But I'm not saying Xenonauts is, bad. I'm just saying it's a bit more simplistic. So yeah, but I still love that, there are little differences in Xenonauts that are, different from XCOM. Again, with the whole ammo thing and grenades, you pretty much have an unlimited number of grenades. All you need to do is just construct the weapons and then drag and drop, and off you go. You have to keep track of carry weight. If you put someone over capacity, then they have less action points to use when you're moving them around in the environment. So you can make them, lighter. You can make them heavier and a bit more tanky. I love the customization in this. There may be a meta, but I haven't figured out what that is yet. When you're in game, I think the biggest thing to get used to was the whole action point system. In XCOM, you pretty much had like 2 action points per character on a turn. It's still turn-based, but it's, you move here, that's 1 action point. Then you move over here, that's 2 action points. It's like move, or move and shoot. In this game, instead, you've got, like 60 action points for this character. It all depends, again, on what your carrying capacity is and how much you've got on you at that point in time. And, you could move a little bit. Shooting may take 28 action points, or throwing a grenade might take 22, whatever. So I love that because, in XCOM, I felt a bit limited. I was constantly crawling up to my next piece of cover because I play very defensively. In this game, I had a bit more freedom to jump around a corner and look around. As an aside, another cool thing that I liked was that there were civilians in XCOM, but they typically didn't do anything except run. The civilians in this game, when they are on the map, they actually have guns and they shoot, which is kind of cool. I've seen several civilians in this game actually hit their targets more so than my own soldiers, and I'm going to complain about this several times in this game. The accuracy. The accuracy of my troops are appalling. These are supposed to be trained combat troops, like Spec Ops, whatever. They've got all this gear, they've got... I don't know what it is. I mean, I get it. XCOM, you walk up to someone, 98% accuracy right in their face, and you still miss. That is still present in this game, and that is so frustrating. Now, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but I've constantly reloaded to test the odds. 78% hit accuracy. I would reload the same thing 4 or 5 times, and every single time they miss at like 70%. The odds of that are pretty awful. When you do hit them, great. 70%, 80%, you're like, yeah, that's about right. But sometimes, and the weapon also matters too, in my opinion. You've got the shotgun, right? A shotgun at close range, what are the odds of missing that? Walk up to, don't do this, obviously, but in a hypothetical situation, you have a shotgun, you walk up to an alien, and you shoot them almost at point-blank range. And somehow all of that buckshot still misses. I don't understand. How do you miss with a shotgun with a spread like that at close? I don't understand. I really don't. So I feel like even on the easiest difficulty setting, this game is just like completely unfair and unrealistic in certain points. These are supposed to be trained people. I can understand if these were like teenagers off the street who had no formal training. These are supposed to be people that, they're in a training area somewhere and they shoot and they hit. I mean, they should go through some kind of training process, approval process before they join some kind of military unit. How can they not hit something at close range like that? After missions are over, you'll sometimes be awarded medals, which increase the attributes of your troops. I love that, by the way. I love stuff like that. I love stat building, and I love the stress and the importance of keeping people alive so that they become an elite unit. They don't have skill trees, though, as far as I can tell, like in XCOM, and no psionic powers that I've seen either. One complaint I also have is with the funding report. This thing pops up every now and again, and I can't tell what the numbers mean. North America, $886,000 coming in. Okay, but what is that? Where's that money coming from? Why am I getting that? And then in parentheses next to it is a green number? Well, tell me, what is that? Is that in comparison to last month? Is there an expense in North America that I'm not aware of? Like, all I see are numbers. Give me more information. As an accountant, I want to know, what does that number mean? Yeah, it's great, I'm making money, but why? Where is that coming from? There's just not enough information from an economic report standpoint to really understand what is going on. On the world map, there are different panic levels, different things that happen in Asia, for example. Scientist is abducted, forest fires, everything that happens in the environment increases a panic level of that region. And unless you've got like a base with a radar dish around there, you really can't respond to those kind of things. But you can take missions that will lower global panic, which I love. So I like that. Again, at some point I'll have bases all around the globe, and I'll be watching all the different regions and making sure that they're protected. So getting back to what I said earlier about this falls into the whole Phoenix Point thing, where you were having fun I was having fun up to a point, but then it just sort of hit the fan. There's this cleaner mission. It's, again, 3.5, 4 hours in, or 5 or 6 missions in, I should say, where you're given the option to stun the VIP and capture them. Now, here's the thing. I spent 45 minutes reloading, loading, reloading, loading, reloading. I have this thing. I had the leader alone in this room. There were 3 people and my Mars robot. I had it down to clockwork. Bring the guy in with the shield. I get hit twice. The shield goes away, but my guy is still fine. And then I bring people in with stun guns and try and hit them at point-blank range. And no, that didn't work. So I constantly just... You have no idea how frustrated I was with this. I was trying to figure out, okay, I hit them with the stun gun, but why isn't he going down? It says stun 15 above his head, but how much stun does he need to go down? I don't understand. Is there like a hidden stun health pool that I'm not aware of? I don't know. The game doesn't explain that. Am I supposed to hit him for enough stun damage that is greater than his current health and then he'll go down? I don't know. That's another thing I'm confused. Like, I simply don't know. And even when I tried a flashbang, I threw a flashbang at him to suppress him so that maybe I could bring in someone else with a stun gun at point blank range and that would help stun him. No. Turned out no. Even with him being suppressed in the middle of like this fire field because my Mars robot shot this rocket at him, it's still like, I don't know what it is. Like, I didn't see any smoke. Like, there was smoke, but I shot around the smoke so I wouldn't hit him. One thing I will real quick just comment on, if you click on a location and then hold shift and then hover over the enemy, you can actually see your chance of hit at that spot. So it's, rather than having to move to it to see what the hit chances are, you can just hold in shift. You click on a spot, you hold in shift, then hover over the enemy, and it tells you at that location that's what your hit chance will be. And even then, it's still abysmal. I can't tell you how many times I've reloaded that. Again, as another aside before the video ends, one thing I do like is that you can toggle fire rate. So, for example, if your weapon has, it's basically like an accuracy modifier. You can use less action points to fire a bit more blindly. Like, don't aim down sights, rather for a better hit. Just take the chance that you're going to miss, but use less action points to hit him. I love little stuff like that. So there are different, like, accuracy firing modes that you can employ in this game that are really cool as well. But I'll just come back to my original point. I loaded this part 5, 6, 7 times, and each and every time it was a nightmare just trying to bring this stupid alien down. It was so frustrating. I'd hit him with stun, nothing happened. I hit him stun twice, nothing happened. Finally, he went down. And then I had to pick him up by opening up my little backpack, and then I had to drag him to my backpack. What's weird is that I couldn't rotate any of my items, so the stun baton I had, I couldn't, like, fit anywhere, which was stupid. Like, why couldn't I rotate this thing to fit? It was really silly. Like, maybe there is a rotate button and I missed it, but, like, I couldn't figure out how to get the alien to fit in the place without discarding some of my items. It was just kind of stupid. But anyway, Xenonauts 2, is it a good game? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of playtime here, but I still feel like it's in a very early testing stage. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just, the odds don't make any sense to me. Like, the chance to hit, I think, is appalling. These are trained troops. They should hit a lot more than they do, and the game is starting to be more frustrating than it is enjoyable. So I'm going to come back to this later when it's a bit more fleshed out, and I'm hoping that they make easy mode easier. Well, this is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Take care.